Hello and good morning. Allie Benjamin here with Growing Edge Live, our weekly Sunday spiritual tune-in and tune-up. I'm so happy to be here and to see who jumps on together. So welcome. And I'm sitting here next to my beloved Michael, and I can hear he's just jumped on.
I'm here.
So good morning. Good morning. We're in Grass Valley, California, and it is a crisp 36 degrees here, but beautiful, absolutely stunning up here in the pine trees. Where are you? I would love to know where you are and what's in your heart today. Maybe you're having a really good time, in the easy flow of things, and maybe you're experiencing challenges and difficulties. Regardless of where you are, whether you're experiencing great peace and joy and ease and flow, or you're experiencing some uphill challenges at the moment, I know that something that you hear here today will make an impact, make a difference for you. So we'll wait for a moment to see who pops on. I'm sure, as you know, or maybe don't know, the clocks spring forward in the springtime, and it is an hour earlier for us to be doing our Growing Edge Live Sunday broadcast. And so some of you may have forgotten that it is the time change took place and are still snoozing, or maybe still having breakfast. Hey, Sandy, good to see you. Nice to know that you're here. And I know that for all of you that are returning, that are coming back, that are part of our community already, so happy you're here. Hey, Carol. Hi, Pam. Hi, Natalia, William. For those of you that are joining us again, it's so good to see you. So good to be together in our virtual community. Even though we're not together in person, those times are changing for so many with the vaccination and everything, that I'm sure we'll be able to meet with our loved ones and give them hugs. And so for those of you that are coming back, so good to see you. So good to know that you're here. And if you're joining us for the first time, we are an open, loving community that connects hearts and minds, and we offer a spiritual tune-in and tune-up every Sunday morning. And our greatest hope for you is that you find something in the message today, or maybe just knowing that you're in a safe place, a group of inspired thinkers, forward-leaning, positive, creative beings. Just knowing that you're in a community of like-minded people may be the very thing that gives you that extra boost of hope as you embrace your day. And it's my wish that you make this day the very best day that you can. So good morning, and I'm going to get going. So here we go.
Free my mind, open my heart with the whispers of truth, to live a conscious life, on the growing edge.
Good morning. Allie Benjamin here with Growing Edge Live. And welcome to everyone, especially to the Satya community. We are a spiritual community, new thought community, and our mission is to heal hearts, transform lives, and to nurture and inspire conscious evolution. That's why we call it Growing Edge, because when we wake up to our spiritual dimension, our spiritual dimensions, we have a real sense that we're on the very green growing edge of our own becoming, and that we, as individuals, equipped with a mind, equipped with a heart and equipped with a body, we get to make choices that further us along our path, our evolution. And every Sunday and throughout the week, we here at Growing Edge Live and Satya, we share tools and practices to help you feel in touch, in tune with not only your creative mental energy, but your creative spiritual energy. So today, well, thank you for supporting us, by the way. We couldn't exist without you, and your financial donations, your contributions truly help and make this ministry possible. So thank you. I'd love to start with a little centering meditation. So if you will, take a moment to get comfortable right where you are. And if you'd like, close your outer eyes and turn within and tune in for a moment to that dimensionless, creative realm of spirit. Infinite, eternal, now. It's not going anywhere, never has. It's always here for us. It's always on and it's always present. And when we're tuned in, when we slow down the mind, and when we tune in, we can feel that infinite spaciousness. We get a sense of the spark of life within us that is seeking to express. That spark of life that is seeking to connect. Shine its light. Expand. Let's take a breath into expansion, breathing in. Exhaling. And maybe take a minute to relax the mind. Just notice everything that's going on in the mind. Maybe you're hearing some noises in the background. Maybe you're thinking of the rest of the day, what's to come. We have that surface analytical mind, that part of us that wants to make sense of things, plan for the future. Just notice that and then sink a bit deeper down and imagine we're sinking down into the heart space, from the head to the heart, and feel this place in the heart, the spiritual center of our being, where there is no thinking, there is no need, there is no wanting, there's just a sense of being the presence of light. And if there is any sense of wanting, it's more of a wanting to connect in love, connect with life. There is that deep spiritual yearning to be alive, to be present, to be in this body, to be experiencing life in the now moment, whatever occurs, just witnessing, connecting, and being. And in this place there's peace, the peace that passes all understanding. And so let's breathe into that love and peace. Feel it expanding, and exhale, and know as you exhale, you're expanding that field, that vibration of peace and love and understanding. So inhale and exhale, and in that natural rhythm of, I call it heart breath, where we're breathing consciously aware of being alive, being here, connecting to all of life, connecting to ourselves, to our loved ones, and just being at peace with all of it. even in the midst of ups and downs. Here we are today, grounded, centered, connected, available, curious. So coming back to this moment and opening your eyes, take a minute to look around, and maybe you'll be seeing with new eyes as you take in your world, not from the sense of trying to make something happen or get something or plan something, but just a sense of being. And maybe in that you look around and you see there's a lot to be grateful for. There's a lot to be thankful for, especially if you're with someone at the moment. Maybe you take a minute to look at them and feel that connection, that soul connection. There's no chance there's that the people you're with, the people that you've got in your life currently, aren't the perfect people for you to be with on your evolutionary journey. You're here to spin and turn and create a spiritual story together. And so as you see with that kind of those eyes and that mindset, that we're all together on this spiritual path, and those paths intersect sometimes. And if your path is intersected with someone today, or you maybe will meet up with family or friends this afternoon, just see through that lens that what am I here to learn? How am I here to shine my light and give some hope and a helping hand today? So, welcome to Growing Edge Live Sunday broadcast. Today, my theme is resilience. And what I know is that navigating this modern world, especially with everything COVID, can be extremely challenging, that all of us have faced challenges. And if we were in a room together, if I was on a stage speaking and you were in the audience, I would imagine asking you questions like, if you've experienced heartache, if you've experienced disappointment, if you've lost someone, if you've gone through a terrible divorce, if you have been betrayed, if you have lost a loved one, if you've lost a job, if you've had any challenging experience that caused you to step out of your comfort zone, then I can just see, I'd like everyone to stand up. If everyone stood up in response to those questions, the whole room would be standing. And that is because all of us have experienced the toughness and the difficulties and the challenges of life. And the media may have us believe that that's not usual, that's not normal, that we're here to live these supermodel lives where we have these wonderful bodies and we fit into the perfect size clothing, and we've got just the right amount of money, and abundance is always coming to us, and we have all the things that we want, and all of that, our relationships are good, and we fall in love with Prince or Princess Charming, and we skip off into the sunset, and everything's wonderful and magical. Well, that isn't the case. Those things do happen, but by and large, we experience a lot of challenge, especially when we're bombarded with people telling us that life should be perfect, that we should be better, slimmer, happier, richer, more abundant, whatever. So if we can sort of meet there this morning with the realization that we all experience challenges. We all have the opportunity, because we're all innately resilient. We all have the opportunity to overcome those challenges. There's not one of us that doesn't have within us the ability to navigate this human experience, the challenges and the great rewards and wonderful things that we celebrate and succeed at. So today I want to talk about three things that you can explore in regards to facing life, overcoming loss, dealing with trauma, and moving through it with grace and ease, knowing that there are silver linings, but knowing that we're kind of programmed as human beings with these complex brains. We have that old reptilian brain, the mammalian brain, and then we have our thinking, our creative mind. We've got all these parts of us, and there's an old ancient part of us that is always on the lookout for something dangerous, like the saber-toothed tigers of years gone by. There are no saber-toothed tigers, but there are a lot of stresses, and we're bombarded with those stresses daily. But we seem to have a tendency to look towards the challenges rather than the rainbows. We look towards what's wrong rather than what's right. But I know if you're here listening that you've already awoken to the fact that you have a brain and that you're not your mind. You're that which has a mind, and you get to interact. You get to choose your thoughts, choose your thinking. You get to focus more on the positive and less on the negative. So these are the three things I want to share with you today about spiritually resilient people. And that's what you are. You're a spiritually resilient person. I know you are. So what spiritually resilient people understand, what they know, what they get, is that shift happens. I could use another word. Shift happens. Life happens. None of us are immune to it. And spiritually resilient people know this. They may momentarily get pulled down, get taken down into that dark valley of the night of the soul and really deal with grief. If you've experienced a loss, death of a loved one, you know well those 5 stages of grief. I like to add a couple of extra ones. Shock. If you've lost a loved one, if a loved one of yours has died, you understand the shock that happens when that loved one is suddenly missing from the world. So the 5 stages of grief are denial, anger, bargaining, sadness, and then acceptance. So each of us have the ability to be faced in times of trauma, in times of loss, with facing our feelings. And that's what spiritually resilient people do. They know that shift happens. They know there's going to be losses. There's going to be challenges. We may lose our job. We may get a diagnosis. We may be short on money. Things happen. But spiritually resilient people know that there's always the opposite. Things come in cycles. Things revolve. There's patterns. And spiritually resilient people don't feel victimized by life. We see that we're all having experience of great wins and great challenges. And so we don't take it so seriously, even though we may want to spend a good deal of time exploring our feelings. We don't brush them under the carpet. We look at them, we embrace them, we do the work. We may have to do tough work. We may have to see a counselor and work through our emotions and feelings. A therapist. And that's totally appropriate. Resilient people know when to ask for help. Resilient people also know that they're always at choice. Resilient people know the power of attention, because energy flows where our attention goes. Spiritually resilient people have a keen awareness of this. They know what to focus their attention on. A couple of years ago, our family experienced the tremendously tragic loss of our son. Our son Adam died. And whilst as a mother I was on the very edge of pain and suffering and struggle, I was sucked into the darkest of places. I can still go there. Just talking about it, I feel the tears and I feel the heaviness in my heart. Spiritually resilient people know that when faced with something like this, life still is going on. I had to, as a mother, realize that I had a husband. I have children that require my attention, that require my love, that even though my beloved Adam was no longer here, I had to know that I had a choice to spend time grieving, time connecting with him in his new non-physical experience, but I also had responsibilities and commitments to my life and to my family. So spiritually resilient people know that energy goes and flows where our attention is. And we can focus, we can tune in to what our true intentions are, and then give that energy and attention. And when we do that, life comes to us. More opportunities for connections, more opportunities for adventure, more opportunities for experience show up. But when we're closed in, when we get enveloped by our grief, by our loss, by our trauma, by our confusion, then we can't see a way out. Spiritually resilient people know there's always a way through, because breakdowns are typically breakthroughs for spiritually resilient people. Spiritually resilient people seek out the good stuff. Spiritually resilient people accept the good stuff into their lives. They're not closed off to it. And that's you. So make an intentional, deliberate, ongoing effort to tune in to what's good in your world. Who lights you up? Your grandchildren, your children, your spouse, your teacher, your parents, your grandparents. Tune in to those that love you unconditionally, no matter what. Spiritually resilient people, this is the third thing I want to share today. Spiritually resilient people ask themselves empowering questions. Spiritually resilient people are curious. I know that when I've been dealing with challenging times, or when I'm working with clients, and that's who I primarily work with these days, is people that are dealing with loss and trauma, that are wanting to move through their grief in a very conscious and deliberate way. And what I know is when we ask ourselves empowering questions, we can shift. We can shift. So we can ask ourselves things like, is what I'm doing helping or harming me? Is what I am doing helping or harming me? Right in the midst of it, right when we're faced, when we're at our edge, when we're feeling the weight of the world, when we're taking action in the world, when we're making a decision, when we're going down a new road, when we're faced with a choice, we can ask ourselves, is this helping or harming me? And as we start to take these three things, when we know that shift happens, when we are willing to know that we're always at choice Energy flows where our attention goes. And when we're willing to ask ourselves questions, when we're willing to really take responsibility for our lives, we get a real sense. We're starting to rise up. We take time to deal with life, but we inevitably rise up. And when we're there, when we're in that place of empowerment, we find our purpose. We find a deeper sense of purpose in life. And what does that mean? It means purpose can change from day to day. But if you've spent any time doing depth work, doing the inner work on your spiritual path, you've probably identified several key areas of interest. You've probably identified what gives you the most sense of aliveness in life and a deep sense of meaning. So you have an idea already of what your purpose is. Over 2,200 years ago, a beautiful Indian sage, Patanjali, said, "When you are inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary project, all your thoughts break their bonds. Your mind transcends limitations. Your consciousness expands in every direction, and you find yourself in a new, great, and wonderful world. Dormant forces, faculties, and talents become alive, and you discover yourself to be a greater person than you by far had ever dreamed of was possible." So I know that you are in a place of discovering deeper meaning and purpose. And as you do, as you become this highly resilient person, dormant forces open up to you. And it happens because you're focused. You're focused rather than on what's out there. You're focused on what's in here. And when that happens, and when you realize your resilience, those dormant forces, those talents, those abilities, those capabilities you see with new eyes and hear with new ears, that presence, you being that, allows you to enter into a world that is beyond your wildest dreams. So let's go into prayer now together. Let's close the outer eyes and tune in. We're going to do an activation, a meditation to really activate these ideas, these faculties, these abilities to rise above challenges and difficulties, to bounce back, to transcend challenges, to transmute the energy of the past into the brilliance of who you're becoming. So let's tune in to what's possible now. This amazing life, this beautiful, wonderful, incredible life. This one power, one presence, one infinite organizing intelligence that each one of us are a part of. There's not a spot that it's not. The center is everywhere, and the circumference is nowhere. We're all immersed in this beautiful spiritual power and energy. And as we take our place, as we stand in our strength, resilient, strong, we know without a shadow of a doubt that whatever comes to us, whatever happens in our lives, is not happening to us, it's happening for us. It's for our evolution. It's for the growth of our soul. It's for us to activate, ignite our ability to shine, even in darkness. I know that each of us are ready, willing, and able to focus our energy and attention where we want it to be. we have the ability to move our energy into areas of life that we've never been before. We get to do the impossible because we have activated our hearing. We're able to hear the inaudible. We're able to see the invisible. And we're able to do what we used to think was impossible. So we are activating latent, dormant forces, technologies within us that have the capacity to bring about a whole new experience, heal relationships, heal illnesses, attract wealth and prosperity, to activate dimensions of our creative mind and put them to use, put them to in purpose of our visions, our dreams, our purposes, our goals. And as we activate new dimensions, as we step up and out into our greater yet to be, we are blessed. We always look at every choice we make and say, is this harming me? Is this benefiting me? Because I'm going for what's benefiting me all the time. More and more, I'm less interested in those old addictive behaviors. I'm less interested in doing what doesn't feel good. I'm less interested in being critical, in being opinionated, in always having to be right. And I'm more interested in being open, being generous, being helpful, being productive, being spiritual, finding my groove, eating healthy food, exercising. The new world is opening up right now. And I say, yes, thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. I have the resilience to break out and break free, and I choose to break free now. Thank you, life. Thank you. I have absolute confidence that this is true for all of us. And I speak a blessing on all people, on the two-leggeds, the four-leggeds, the winged, the finned, the hooved, and the creepy crawlers, the plant people, the stone people, and the tree people, earth, water, wind, fire, ether, blessings, Grandmother Moon, Grandfather Sun, Father Sky, and the great star nation, Mother Earth. Thank you. Blessings abound. We are lifted up in this oneness of love. Grace streams to us in unimagined ways, and for this we are all blessed. And so it is. Peace and blessings to you. Mwah. Love you. If you want support on your journey, please IM me. Please outreach to us. You can go to satyalive.org. You can, and we'll connect you with one of our prayer practitioners. Thank you again for your generosity of time and love and consciousness, and your financial support. You can Venmo us at Satya Center. Peace and blessings. Mwah.